The podcaster who says black people are not Americans because of slavery, well, he can say it better. Listen.
And you're not an American because originally you were slaves and you didn't even have value in terms of the political system. Then they were given like 3/8 of the value, right? Of
3/5.
3/5. Thank you. In my world, it was 3/8, but I live in a utopia. No, I'm just kidding. But it was like 3/5, and you go down, and it's like then amendments were made, and there was adjustments that gave you citizenship and the right to vote, but it didn't make you an American. It just gave you American citizenship. It gave you legal right. And that's why it doesn't take a genius to notice that black people and white people in America look, act, behave fundamentally different, both individually and collectively. Now, that's not to say that black people aren't valuable in the eyes of God. It's not to say that white people are better than black people, even if they are. No, I'm kidding.
Let me just give you the details and save the commentary for now. That was Elijah Schaffer, right-wing podcaster, making news with his outrageous assertion that while black people may be citizens, they are not Americans. No. Just the other day, he declared that any woman who has an abortion should be put to death. In comments made a few years ago. This guy is really crazy. When he was still employed by Glenn Beck's The Blaze, Schaffer told Native Americans to, quote, get the F out of America. Was his to Native Americans? Schaffer is one of many podcasters on the right making a stand for the allegedly aggrieved white male. 2022, he tweeted, they hate straight white people. Just you, Elijah. I appeal to the hatred. Schaffer claimed, in slavery times, I would have run the Underground Railroad. I fight for the marginalized. I defend minorities. Right now, nobody is more targeted than young, heterosexual, white men. I got you. Let's fight these demons. Schaffer first gained attention January 6, 2021, when he allegedly, working as a journalist, was part of the crowd who stormed the Capitol. He was seen on camera apparently skimming through House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's emails. So besides a clown, I don't even know how to dissect his comments. And he didn't even know history. 3/5 his cohorts had to correct him, not 3/8. That was the compromise. What do we do with this kind of buffoonery, Ben?
Oh, I wish you could do a lot more than you can, but we got to do something. It's unreal, the success that the far right and now just the right, more mainstream, and now beyond that, it's trickled into the tech world. You've even got Mark Zuckerberg, who was woke 6 months ago, now saying that there's too much feminine energy and we need masculine energy back everywhere. And not that there's no problem with masculine energy. There's good masculine energy and bad. The problem here is that it's just a complete misappropriation of traits. We are telling people that white males are being attacked. That's not the case. Who's being attacked is ignorant, backwards, caveman style white straight males who think that they are better than any other group, who think they're more entitled to what society and life in general has to offer than any other group. That's what the issue is. Nobody has a problem with white straight males who can be tough and masculine and also kind and caring and can share the stage and spotlight and resources and community with all other groups. Then you're good. It's not to do with your skin color. It's to do with your attitude of superiority based on your skin color or your gender or your sexuality. That's the only issue. And so while we have to value free speech being unfettered whenever possible, things like this abhorrent person's clips, it's hate speech. It borders on hate speech when you're too aggressive for Glenn Beck. When Glenn Beck is like this, I'm uncomfortable with this speech. Maybe that's the standard. Maybe we should call it the Glenn Beck standard. And when even Glenn Beck is like, that's a little intense, maybe you get your podcast license pulled. And the problem is you don't need a license to have a podcast. I have a podcast. I'm unlicensed, but I use something called morality and good common sense to not cross the line into offending people who don't deserve it. A good litmus test for the people who you can comment on are people that make choices you disagree with, and not groups of people based on being simply a member of that group. That's a good base standard. But it's really unfortunate that people support this podcasting atmosphere when people are aggressive and controversial and disgusting like that, and support them less when they're more measured and reasonable. The marketplace wins oftentimes, and I think we do need a Joe Rogan on the left, as they say. I've been trying to fill those shoes for a while. You can feel free to subscribe. Last Week on Earth.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. You can't be everywhere. Okay, you're doing the comedy, you're putting on these charitable events, you're doing the podcast, and you're here with us. So, a little help. But you're right. We don't even mind free speech. Like you said, we want people to disagree all you want, but say something. And you mentioned Zuckerberg, that hideous gold chain. What was that about? Did you see it?
I don't know. I wear black t-shirts and chains, but
is that in style?
It just looks, it's in, but not, he's wearing a weird looking one. It just looks put on. Also, his t-shirt is like 8 sizes too big for him. His hair's curly, out of control. I mean, his hair is a wildfire risk, to be honest.
It's a wildfire risk. They got
you need to clear some of that brush.
Clear some of that brush. Because it's a problem. Anybody who wants a podcast can have it. And I like to believe in my little Pollyanna, sometimes I'm a good girl, mind, that it's the algorithms, that people don't really want to listen to this. Or if they do, they just want to listen to controversy, but they don't really believe it. But I know that's not the case. Too many Americans, they believe it. They believe it. That and space lasers, they think that, this is what's up. But it's sick and sad.